You're listening to Africa Media Matters from the Institute for War and Peace Reporting. And now we take a look at another group of journalists keen to uncover stories that some might prefer to keep under wraps. They're the Forum for African Investigative Reporters, known as FAIR, a professional network based in Johannesburg, whose goal it is to enhance investigative journalism across the continent. Its director, Evelyn Groenink, told me earlier why she got together with colleagues from the Institute for the Advancement of Journalism to set it up in 2003.
There was absolutely no network connecting journalists who were questioning events rather than either reporting or criticizing government. It was either opinion or just going to press conferences. The people who were doing more than that didn't have a link to one another. So every time there was a big issue that affected more countries, like the same company would write people in Mozambique and Angola, the journalists would always just only write local stories. So what we started to do was actively headhunt people who were doing more than just reporting. And FAIR started to gain a reputation, and we started to be a real network with members and later even membership fees, because now we were starting to service people with access to databases and newsletters and subscriptions and stuff.
And I believe also that you have very distinguished journalists on your board. Tell us a little bit about them.
Yeah, we just selected a new board that is the best among the best, not only in terms of journalism, but also in terms of dedication to the profession. And our new chairman from the DRC, who lives in exile in Ivory Coast, Eric Nwamba, has played a very prominent role in exposing, for instance, traffic in young footballers, little boys, young boys who end up often on the streets in Belgium and France because unscrupulous agents make a lot of money from these boys' families who think they're going to be famous footballers. So this human trafficking in young footballers has been exposed by him. Our treasurer, John Grobler, in Namibia has exposed how the Namibian governing elite is looting tourism resources. And our Secretary General, Theophilus Abba, is somebody who follows the shenanigans of the Nigerian government and private sector. And his latest expose is about how rebels in Nigeria, in the oil delta, are more loved by the populace than the government, even though the government purportedly has so many budgets to spend, but nothing of that money actually reached the population. The population actually benefits from $25,000 that the rebels bring home after they attack an oil company installation and get some money from the oil company in exchange for a promise to stop it.
You're involved in the dangerous end of journalism. I'm just wondering how useful a model you think it is to export across the continent.
I don't know what you mean by useful. It's certainly not a big money maker, because often even media houses don't want their own reporters to go into all that stuff, because all that happens is that everybody gets angry. If you do your job right, you end up with not only one party being angry with you, but a lot of parties. So
and you can also lose your life.
You know, that happens more in Mexico and Russia than in Africa, even though it is dangerous. One of our associates actually left journalism in Cameroon. Cameroon is one of the worst countries. He was beaten up so badly after he investigated the finances of the president of the Confederation of African Soccer Federations.
So from the stories that you've been giving us, it seems that you work across the continent.
Currently, we have a network of over 180 in a total of about 35 African countries. We haven't got the capacity yet to have a lot of staff continuously on the lookout. Basically, we are 2.5 people in one small room in Johannesburg. But wherever you go in Africa, you'll find someone who's not happy with the lies that surround them, whether it's government or private sector or outside forces, multinationals, even donors sometimes. You always get one version, and there's actually a big space for people to try and find out what is actually going on.
Is there an appetite for investigative reporting? Because many people say that it's a dying art.
I don't know, maybe it's dying in the rest of the world, but we grow by 5-6 people every week. There is such an amazing hunger for finding out, big word, truth. It's only growing. You have those people who are ready to take that risk.
You've just recently had the FAIR Award ceremony in Johannesburg. Tell us about the winners and the stories.
I interviewed the two main winners, Emmanuel Maya from Nigeria and Anas Anas from Ghana. And I couldn't help myself. I had to ask them, guys, are you for real? One actually went as a trafficked person with human traffickers through the Sahara Desert. He stayed there for a month. He was at risk of being abandoned in salt mines, at risk of being shot. And this is undercover journalism. So if they discover that you are a journalist, you've basically had it. And the other one went into a mental hospital to expose what happened with the health budgets and hard drug use that was going on and abuse of patients. And he ended up having quite an impact. But this guy couldn't escape from having to eat those psychotropic drugs or whatever you call them because he was undercover posing as a mental patient. He ended up all trembling and incoherent because of the drugs, and he had to sort of go back to normal before he did the story. I mean, he made an incredible change in Ghana. His work contributed to real improvements, so I can only take my hat off to guys like that.
That was Evelyn Groenink, Director of FAIR, talking to us from Johannesburg.